because I detest thoroughly not late. Just sitting here and sweating.
Yep,
And
summer.
just so you know, we're live.
Dun, 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 dun.
And you're both wearing hats, and I'm a cat.
Yes. Well, I always wear hats. How last is NB Badass. It's even Myth Pro. It's been another week, and boy, has it been a week. But remember, the work week is a
What did I
fiction.
miss?
Okay, so what was happening the day of last week was like the Los Angeles protests against like the
Right,
ICE raids,
Trump invaded Los Angeles.
Yes, with like stormtroopers. No, the National Guard. I think 4,000 troops last time I heard.
I think we can call them, yeah.
Yes, and then like also the Marines, at least 700. But it's just like also it's just like they had to get training because like they're not there to. That's not what they're there for. They don't know about crowd control with civilians as well too. And hello,
Right.
Comrade Ibot. Would want to lurk with like a tired friend of the past like a few days I protested here in like the PDX. Stay safe, be dangerous, and love solidarity, comrades. Yes, as well too. And hello, Indigenous. It's like Indigenous told us that like they will not be joining us because like they're going to be out with their brothers and sons and stuff like that. And it is Father's Days, or you can just call it Parents' Days, honestly, because they're definitely non-binary people like that. Like kind of
No,
Oh,
I'm
you
pretty
can't
sure
call
that
Parents' Day
either
every
you
people.
put a baby in a woman or you are a receptacle.
You can't
So,
call it Parents' Day. That'd be too woke.
Yes, exactly.
and then we got this found in r/jokes. I got this from Orrin Bishop from r/translator.
Oh yes. I
Okay.
posted
Asked
that
my
one.
son what he learned at school today. He said, gay men like Sony, lesbians favor a Yamaha, and transgender people prefer Bose. Kneeling down, I put my hand on his shoulder and replied, son, those are just stereotypes.
I saw that one on Facebook. I did think that was cute. I did think that.
That is a great dad
James
joke.
jokes are jokes when they're not punching down,
Yes.
not just on us. They're not punching down on anybody. You know. Oh,
It's a pun.
I think I've even said the one before.
Dad jokes rely on being basic and punny. Because dad jokes are jokes made for little kids, and then the kids grow up and dad doesn't.
And for the dads too, you know, their enjoyment of telling them, you know.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sure I've said the one before about the nicknames for HRT.
Titty Skittles?
Yeah, titty skittles, antihistamines,
Feminines,
antibiotics,
tic tacs, tits tax, I should say. This was actually like shared like in like one of my meme in channels as well too, because like apparently it's just like almost official like names or something like that, or like showed up actually like in a journal as a medical journal and stuff like that. It's like I could be wrong with that, but it's like I love for feminims to be in like a medical journals for sure as it were too.
Then there's one that I like that not everybody in the trans community likes. Of course, we're not monolithic, you know.
Yeah.
Look at, you know, Caitlyn Jenner and Blair White. But anyway,
Oh yeah.
you know, not everyone likes, but most people understand what's behind it and find it slightly amusing. What's the difference between a transvestite and a trans woman?
Ooh. I don't know.
5 years.
Oh, yep, exactly.
What's there's a comedian, the British comedian,
The asshole one or the terrible one?
Eddie?
Eddie
Izzard?
Eddie Izzard. He's
cool.
He used to say, no, these aren't women clothing, they're my clothing. And now he's trans.
Yes. It's kind of like that meme I shared before. It's like Bugs Bunny 4 years ago. Yes, I just like to wear women's clothing because, like, I find it amusing. 4 years later, on HRT. Well, you get to know a bit about yourself as well too.
The more yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
So what are we discussing today? Speaking of the protest, by the way, that's what we'll be covering on my show after this.
What were they, the Juneteenth protests, or was it something specific?
I have to be. I'm usually tend to be a little bit more intense, strident than the people on
You
the show.
don't say.
Yeah,
I am
do say.
shocked,
That's the
shocked
purpose
at
of
this
it.
revelation. Where are
Shocked,
my
shocked.
winnings?
But yeah, I cover the protest. I cover the assassinations.
Oh yes, that's what happened yesterday. There
And
was
the
like a
assassination attempts.
yeah, oh yeah.
That's what happens when you have to fucking work.
Grandpa Diaper Pants parade.
Oh, that's right. It's like
Was his birthday parade yesterday?
Yes.
Yep, it was.
Yesterday was June 14th, his birthday. One of my friend's birthday, who is
And it happened to be the Juneteenth
almost
celebration.
sometimes in some ways she's further in some.
Oh, is that my internet or yours?
Yep. June 14th is also I think it's your internet. Yeah, it's your internet because like the stream's so good, it's still on. It's just like buffering as well too. So like everything's back.
Because mine's been for some reason, I don't know why earlier today while I was working on my showrunner, I had nothing open, no browsers open, no games running, no nothing, and I would be typing, and it would like let me type 3 letters, and of course my fingers are going along because I'm not paying attention, and I look up and no 3 letters, and then all of a sudden a whole line types or whatever. So I did, of course, the standard thing which you do with Windows, because Windows sucks, is restart it, and it started a little bit better. I finally got it fixed.
Yeah.
I see a giant box fan behind you, Siobhan. I'm guessing you don't have AC because you live up in the Great White North.
No, I do.
Is that hot?
We need it. Well, at least I need it, because anything above, I think I just checked them. It's like 71 degrees here. Anything above 65 is too warm for me. But I have it.
Oh my God, it's only 71 degrees down here.
I just don't
This
use
is a fucking cold snap.
Yeah, it's like and I'm not faulting them. It was a little bit jarring of a culture shock. Well, first of all, speaking of culture shock, I moved from a town of about 8,000 people. This is in 2004. 8,000 people to downtown Washington, D.C. And then my boyfriend and I went from downtown Washington, D.C. to downtown L.A., which I love about L.A., by the way, D.C. You're wrong. But in LA, it would be like February that year or whatever, okay, and 65 degrees, and people are walking around with hats on and
it's
coats,
about 30 degrees, I think, David,
and gloves, and I'm like, I'm just looking at them.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, my reasons that I don't like summer too much as everyone knows is with that, like, hey, I burn in the sun, pale skin as well too, and Irish heritage, and like it's well, and also like I'm allergic to the grass, and like spring to fall is never a fun time for me with my allergies, but also it's too hot sometimes to go out with the jacket on. And the thing is, for me, it's just like, this tells you that I'm neurospicy. I am not going out unless I have a jacket on. If I'm going to just like drop out the trash at the dumpster or something like that, that's not going out because I'll be right back to the apartment as well too. But if I'm going out to like work, to see a movie, to visit my father or something like that, I don't feel like I'm going out unless I have a jacket on as well too.
It's a texture thing for me because sweat is slimy body water.
Oh yes,
so that's why when I first started working at Walmart about a year after I started there, they put me in the freezer department just to see how I do, and I stayed there for the next 5 years. I love working in the cold, absolutely love it. And I was known for it's called binning, where you take stuff out to the floor, see if it'll go in the freezers. If it doesn't, bring it back. You got a limited amount of time you can keep it out there, so it doesn't thaw out or whatever. Then you have to label all that stuff and put it back up on the shelves for the next ship to come in and do whatever. and we were open 24 hours a day at that time. And I was known for working in the freezer for like 40-45 minutes without a coat. Because
Yeah.
as long as I got gloves on,
Yeah.
and if I'm just standing there, yeah, I get cold. If I got
Oh,
gloves
yeah.
on and I'm working,
Yeah.
I'm not cold.
No. If you're moving around and something like that, like yeah, I can easily like maybe like just in the cooler of like or even freezer for the gas station as well too, with just what I'm basically wearing anyway as well too. I have to wear like long pants anyway. And, well, also hello like Owen as well too. Yeah, Celsius all the
Owen,
way.
hello.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
Mithrin.
yeah. Yeah, yes. And David Scott, hello there. Yeah, so like based on the temperatures, so what is a Polish city now? Is like yeah, and that's right. We like you use Fahrenheit here in the United States, so like everyone else has to convert to what it is or centigrade or Celsius as well
I
too.
mean, Celsius isn't the best thing in the world because the guy who designed it originally said that water froze at 100 and boiled at 0
Okay.
You had
because people are
that.
dumb.
It's only
One
it's only
time I was one of my friends is still a manager at Walmart. And I get along with him super well. He's a very staunch supporter of the community, et cetera, which believe me, not all of them are.
yeah.
But he came in one day and we were helping downstack dairy. Well, I already gotten my downstacking done, which is taking the stuff off the pallets and separating it in the carts so that you can just take that cart out to go in where if that's where you're going, it's just aisle 3 stuff or
Mhm.
it's just aisle 2 stuff. So you're not running back and forth all the time, wasting time.
Mhm.
And he's standing there watching us, and he's got his button-down shirt on, it's long sleeve, whatever, right? And he's standing there watching us. And it was me, Bev, Helena, and Joy because we had a huge frozen dairy truck. So I got down with mine. So I'm going helping those. And he's standing there and he's watching me and us. He's talking to us and he's standing there for a second. He looks at me, he goes, "I'm just cold looking at you." And I said, "Well, you could help us. So for next step, next step,
Yeah.
yeah, there's some good people. There are some not so good people there. But yeah, he's on my personal Facebook. He's going to be coming to Pride this year. He has a
Nice.
relative who is in the community
Mhm.
and supports them very much, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I think it all stems from, I was going to say I could blame Geek, but I don't think he was around at the time.
Mhm.
I don't know about
Oh,
how old are you?
No, wait. I was going to say he's a white guy, but he's not a cis white guy. So you should blame me.
I'm going to turn
Okay, so who's younger? How old are you, John? And how old are you?
I'm older than him.
yes,
Okay.
for sure. Like I'm about to turn 41 next month as well too.
I'm
And John
43,
probably said
2 years older.
So this was before you were even thought of. Okay. They have a lake up here called Lake Cadillac. And you got the town, which is right on the border of the western border of.
that makes sense.
And up until we had that it doesn't exist global warming, every year it would freeze over, and I mean hard freeze over. And so we would have what we called Lake Tip-Up Town, where people go out and fish on the ice, and you'd see like 15, 20 cars out there on the ice because the ice was thick enough and hard enough for all that. So every year they had what they called the Polar Bear Club. Okay, now a lot of places will do it,
A bunch of dipshits going out and jumping in the water.
or they run and jump in the water. Okay, but except what we had to do was we cut a hole in the ice with a chainsaw, pulled all the ice out. Okay, and the water there is only like about 3.5, 4 feet deep, and they tie a rope to your body in case you cramp up. Okay, and they have an ambulance there with like what is it? It's almost like
It's a good idea to do something if you have to have an ambulance there.
inflated balloons and whatever, warm blanket. And yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Even at 14, which I was, I would have thought that I would have had enough brains that maybe this is such a great idea. But my dad did, so of course I had to do it.
Of course.
My dad, my height, and almost makes 2 of me, and I weigh almost 300 pounds. So he's got a lot more natural insulation than I do. So he jumps in and he comes out and he's shaking a little bit and whatever. And I jumped in and I turned into Jesus. I walked on water getting out of that motherfucker. It was so cold that it burned. Head to toe.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
But I've pretty much never really been that cold since. Maybe I broke my thermostat.
Maybe.
Reminds me of a video I saw of I don't know if it was Scandinavian, Russian, Northern European, something like that. jumping into a pool that was kind of iced over,
Mhm.
and he bounced off the ice.
I've had some of my friends say, and I'm not quite that, but I'm fairly close.
Mhm.
If the water doesn't have ice in it, it's warm enough to swim in.
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
Lake
I can see.
Michigan never gets warm, ever. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's 100 degrees outside. Lake Michigan never gets warm.
Yep. I
Well,
can
it's
believe
fed
that.
by
Maybe warm
Canadian
for the
water,
first
and
20 feet
Canadian
and then
water is like Ben Shapiro's wife.
I don't know if she's cold.
Canada Dry.
It's more the case that somebody doesn't know how to turn the thermostat up.
Talk about the ice as well too. It's just like reminds me of this like dad joke that like Harrison Ford told one time that like this guy goes out to the ice and it's just like sawing, and then he hears there's no fish under the ice. He looks up and it's like okay, it's like he just moves over a bit, starts sawing into the ice again. There is no fish under the ice, and then he turns again and goes, God, no, I'm the ice rink manager.
That one I like. That one I like. It was cute. There's no fish under the ice. Let me get to
Yeah.
my YouTube where we're all at.
Yeah.
So what are we
So
yakking about today? Anything specific?
yeah, the only topic, well, because I'm
I would
behind,
like to know more about Trump invading LA.
is let's see, let me get like
I'm
have read
guessing
the
it
article.
was it in response to Juneteenth protests or
No,
more
no,
general?
no, no. That's happened last Sunday. It started as well too. Last Saturday
Oh,
as well too. Oh,
Yeah, well, I did a couple. There was a couple small things prior to that, but yeah,
yeah,
then
exactly. Because
Tuesday,
like
last Saturday, and then yesterday. Even
yes.
yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yesterday was the planned protests all across the country in major cities and small cities of like no kings as well too in response to like the Trump's like birthday parade and Flag Day sort of thing too. But like no
no, it
before
was
that.
the 250th birthday of the army. It wasn't Trump. Was it Trump?
Right.
He likes to say that as well too. But no, so like the reason for like the protest in like Los Angeles is protest against ICE because Stephen Miller is like hates everyone apparently, and then it was like demanding that like you gotta get it up to like 3,000 a day, 3,000 a day. Not even like Biden or like Obama who have deported more people. Honestly, according to some statistics I've seen,
Oh no.
they did not like even get to like 3,000 a day as well too, because it's possible. So ICE trying to like hit the quota and hit the mandate of like 3,000 a day. We're just like charging into like places that principals and like teachers at elementary schools were trying to like basically defend the kids from having ICE talk to them as well too.
Oh,
And so that and there was like events, smaller events of like ICE just entering to like a restaurant and just like a restaurant. No, as I today, like, oh, and not until like 50 past the hour as well too, because like Isaiah is like working as well too. He's probably going to like come in for a bit on his breaks as well too, so he won't come in until like 50 minutes past the hour.
yeah. He'll
So
be
in
here
like
when he gets here. Until then.
yeah.
Um. Uh. Uh. Um.
So basically, the protests on like happening in Los Angeles on like Saturday and Sunday, last week Saturday and Sunday, which is basically still continuing and ongoing, is like against ICE because like the community coming together to show solidarity for like
They have
their
a
like
pretty
my best friend.
significant Hispanic community,
Yes.
and it's almost like when you know people, you realize they're
Hmm.
human beings, and you don't treat them like vermin.
Yes, exactly.
I
Uh,
have
Whereas
a
if you're from
friend
Kansas, you treat
who,
people like vermin.
I have a friend who I've been slowly, and by slowly, I mean like over the last 10, 15 years,
mm,
weaning them away from right-wing politics and been doing
mm,
pretty successful. And it's not so much that they are intentionally right-wing
mhm.
or that they are intentionally bigoted. It's that they swallowed a bunch of horse shit
Yeah,
that
it's what
has
they grew up with.
like it's like a cult.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Okay? And they
My
swallowed
parents
up
are going to die right wing,
program.
and
Mhm.
my parents are
And
Fox News Republicans. That's just
Yeah,
what it.
fortunately,
oh,
if your diet of like a news and like media is just like just the right wing echo
I mean,
chamber
they're
of like Fox
literally
News.
boomers. I mean,
Yeah.
well, all except the one which was my mother. She was um like that, but wasn't really into the cult. The rest were, and for the one that's left alive, still are in the cult. So,
Mhm.
and then my brother and my sister and my other brother out in Colorado are heavily QAnon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's good.
Oh.
That's a good way to put it. Like Owen McDonald, there's the active conservative, the one who's like consuming like nothing but Fox News and Breitbart and like that kind of stuff, and then passive conservative, which I will consider my father, because like he did not like Bill Clinton because Bill Clinton would raise his taxes. I did ask my father. He did not vote for Trump, and to him, Trump looks like a con man as well too. So it's
Actually,
like,
I would
I didn't
consider
vote
the
for-
passive conservative to be someone like my parents who do vote for Trump, but don't do anything beyond that. The active
yeah,
conservative would be the ones who,
like my younger brother.
yeah, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't like Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that is,
nobody liked Bill Clinton. He was a piece of shit.
I
I mean, we
Aaron
unfortunately
Sorkin liked Bill Clinton. He was
on
the
the
only one.
left, or what passes for the left in this country,
yeah.
are and I don't mean that as a purity test, but we are have always been left with, for the last, I've been following politics since Nixon, and that last time, from that point on,
Old.
and probably before that to some extent, but from that point on, especially from the onset of Reagan, we've always had to do where we chose the lesser of two evils.
Well, I mean, under Eisenhower, you had whoever Eisenhower ran against, and do you know who Eisenhower's vice president was? Nixon.
He's running. Oh yeah, Nixon. Yeah.
So I mean,
Right. And
FDR and Truman was the
Eisenhower
last time you had a
Republican.
choice of somebody who was trying to help the working class. And
Yeah,
even
Eisenhower
then, they were just trying to save capitalism.
pro-union.
Mhm.
They were pro-civil rights.
Mhm.
They were pro-women's rights.
Mhm.
They weren't necessarily pro ERA amendment, but they were pro-women's rights.
Mhm.
They were pro a good wage for American workers, et cetera, et cetera.
But even then, it was not to do the right thing. It was to save capitalism. They were staunching the bleed. But at that time, but with FDR and Truman, I think 1948 was the last time there was somebody you could vote for who was trying to do what was pretty much the right thing.
Right.
And from 1932 to 1948, I think that was the only time in American politics you could vote for someone like that. Because that was the only time you had somebody who recognized that capitalism was collapsing.
And it depended upon who you meant by you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because marginalized people still didn't have
Black people couldn't vote.
Yeah, well, and the best options
Joe.
that marginalized people have had for the last 60 years have been crappy, and they've gotten worse and worse and worse. I mean, look at, because I'm not a fan of Obama and I'm not a fan of et cetera, but look at Obama today would be too left wing for the Democratic Party.
Yep.
I mean, liberals will run right to follow the fascists.
Yeah. Well, like I've said this before, I think what happened was starting with Reagan. It started a little bit before that. Was starting with Reagan. You have the center of the fulcrum in American politics, and it swings left and right, back and forth. You got Democrats come into office in the Congress this time, Republicans come into the White House next time, or whatever. But that fulcrum the center of that fulcrum has been steadily moving farther to the right, and I think a lot of that is a fault of the Democrats, because what happens is the Republican, especially with Reagan, that's where it really started with Reagan and the moral majority. And the Republicans picked up a lot of votes. Reagan got 59 states. That is the biggest landslide in American history.
Yeah. He's the most popular president in American history.
And so
just ahead of Richard Nixon.
We got to move to the right to take those middle, votes, those centrist votes. So they started moving to the right. Well, then the Republicans went, oh my God, they're coming towards us. We can't do that. We got to keep our votes. So they started going more to the right. So they've both been slowly moving further and further to the right. And you get the occasional outliers. You get an AOC or, whoever. Chris Murphy. He's not, I don't idolize politicians by any stretch of the imagination, but if I'm going to vote for a politician in America, in capitalism, one of the best ones, in my opinion, that you can vote for is Chris Murphy of Connecticut. Unfortunately, he's not my senator, because if he was, I wish I could vote for him. I did a show last week or week before last, mostly just on him and his record, and not just sound bites. John McCain was great at sound bites. How much he supported the military and blah 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 and all this stuff. And I give John McCain credit for his service insofar as like he literally went through torture.
Yeah.
He used to give up a location of his.
And then he ran into the Senate with a boot on his foot so that he could vote against human rights.
He started doing all these, when he got to be as a politician, he got enough torture that he couldn't, from that point on, the rest of his life, he couldn't raise his arms any higher than this. Torture he received. And then you look at his voting record, not his voting, sound bites, and it's completely different.
Yeah.
And then you have that individual, Donald Grumpy Pants, who criticized him because he was captured. Motherfucker, you didn't.
Oh yes, soldier bone spurs as well too.
Cadet bone spurs. Yep.
Cadet bone spurs, exactly, because he wasn't a soldier at all.
I like people who weren't captured. I like a guy who didn't actually fly over Vietnam, get shot down, get captured, and survive torture.
Right. But unfortunately, and to some extent, people on the right are the same way. Even though the values that they have are completely different and whatever, a lot of them feel like they're not, either their candidates they're voting for are a little too extreme, or they're not extreme enough.
Yeah.
But then, they look at the option, which is the Democrats.
Democrats aren't any better. That's the problem.
Right. And you give a lip service. Yeah. Like SJA says, Obama assassinated people. So, Jordan, you give lip service to the supposed values that they hold on both sides of the party. You have, in this last election, I made this point more than once in this last election, if you're a habitué of Texas, for whatever reason, I'm sorry, but anyway, and you go to vote in the last election, the 2024 election, for the Senate race. And you have running Colin Allred, black man, for the Democrats, and Rafael Cruz, I refuse to call him Ted, for the GOP. Well,
Ted is cursed.
Spouted transphobic comments. So if you're a trans person in Texas, or if you have a loved one or a friend or whatever who is a trans person in Texas, or you're just a fucking ally, you don't have to have that immediate connection. You're just an ally, strong ally of trans people in Texas. Who do you vote for? The party who wants to take away trans rights, or the party who wants to take away trans rights?
But slower and less a little bit.
I'm also tired of the they did it this last election with Kamala Harris. I'm tired of the people in the Democratic Party who say, well, we can't give in to special interests. And we have to look at the election, and in fact, I got into an argument on, of course, that's always, effective, but I got into an argument on Blue Sky to the point where I almost never block anybody on Blue Sky. If they're a spam or, porn bot or whatever, that's different. But other than that, I don't care what their opinion is necessarily. I usually don't block them, but these were Democrats that I had to block because I made a whole bunch of points, probably 12 or 13 in a long post, about the problems that I had with the Democrats, not Kamala Harris specifically, but just the Democrats in general. And all they came back with was, well, that was a nice rant, and well, why didn't you vote Republican then? I said, that's not the fucking point. You're supposed to be the opposition party. You should have ability. And then they're like, well, we need to win elections. Well, you're sure the fuck not going to win them that way, as obvious. If they had come
You're not going to beat Republicans by being Republican.
Yeah, exactly. If they had come in, first of all, you should have come in sooner if they're going to want Kamala Harris to win. Biden fucked that. But if they had come in say January, February, whatever, even as late as April, and and said, okay, we're going to run Kamala Harris or whoever, all right,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to start going towards some of the leftist policies. They wouldn't use that word, okay, because it's a spooky word.
Mm-hmm.
No, that gets you hunted
Some
down
of
by
the,
the
some of the
CIA
other
and FBI.
policies that left likes to use, you know, being supporting trans people and
Mhm.
supporting immigrants and,
Mhm.
and immigration and et cetera. Okay, they would have picked up votes. They
Mhm.
would have lost votes. They would have picked up votes.
Hmm. But the
Because there's a
problem
lot.
is that they
Problem
don't
is,
see
I
it that
voted for
way, and their
Kamala.
donors
I
definitely don't
voted
see
for
it that
Kamala
way.
because I didn't have a choice.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
could have not voted, but I would have been just as well as a vote for Trump. I
Mhm.
didn't have a choice. I voted for
Mhm.
Kamala. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people though who I know in the community, in general, from not always specifically I know personally,
Mhm.
but from what I've seen when they make comments on social media and the like, who would have voted for Kamala Harris had
Mhm.
that been the plate, had that been the case.
Yeah.
But they just want to keep running as politics as usual.
Mm.
When Chuckles, that's what I call him, Schumer said,
Suck Schumer.
yeah,
Mhm.
that he was waiting for the GOP, basically waiting for Trump to go away, so that the Republicans could get back to politics as usual. No,
They're not
Mhm.
going back to politics as usual. The party has
that's
taken the mask
even if
off. They have
even if it
gone
was,
full bore fascist.
yeah,
Yeah.
even if it did, that's why you lost.
Mhm.
It's that
Uh,
simple.
Yeah, it's just like they spend the Kamala Harris campaign is like there were times that the Tim Walz like was calling the like JD Vance weird and like I just hope he gets off the couch. It's a remark to like referring to like the couch fucking thing that wasn't true, but like you know what? JD Vance looks like a person that's a couch fucker, but yet like the consultants or the like are the party leaders as well too. They're saying no, that's not the proper strategy. Tim Walz, don't call them weird. There are opponents as well too. It's like I don't know, and like the Kamala Harris would like
When they
say
go
something
low,
like
we go high. Fuck that shit.
Fuck
as
that.
yeah,
Fuck that. And I understand where that's, you know, a lot of it. I mean, she wasn't the only one to say it, obviously, but she made it more prevalent when
yeah,
Michelle Obama said it because it was Michelle Obama that said it. Okay, and I
yeah,
understand
exactly.
where she's coming from. Okay, and I do. And there's a lot of
We
people who
we should be better than because we
agree,
are,
but
but the fact is, the Democrats aren't.
they're
The
not
civility
playing.
porn, the respectability politics, that is not
Yeah,
going to win it.
nope,
I
that's
mean,
it. Not gonna be
Martin
sharp
Luther
one.
King Jr. was the most hated black man in America.
Yep,
And was assassinated.
Yep.
yep,
Now, another thing that a lot of white people don't realize is that Martin Luther King was not completely anti-violence.
yeah,
No.
exactly.
He
They
understood.
love to make that quote, you know, their favorite quote about constantly
Violence is
caring.
an ever-ending cycle. It leads to a night devoid of stars. You know,
Right. And also the quote about the content of the, you know, the
The
color
arc of the
trees.
universe spins toward justice.
But
yeah,
Arc of
they
history.
don't realize that he was in line with Malcolm X
yeah.
in quite a
He,
few ways.
Mhm.
and I mean they had some discussions, but Malcolm X said, "What I do makes what you do possible," and
Yeah,
Malcolm and MLK didn't disagree.
yeah. No, yeah, that's like the whole thing. In order for like there to be like peaceful protests that are successful, so although there has to be the threat of like a more violent
Hmm.
like kind of like a thing with from Malcolm X or the Black Panther parties as well too, because they were in the Black Panthers would always like employ violence when necessary as like a part of defense as well
Oh
too.
yeah. I mean they did Cop Watch before it was called Cop
Mhm.
Watch.
Yep, exactly. And it's always like LBJ kind of like it had to like go with like the MLK because like if he didn't like put in the Civil Rights Act with for MLK and stuff like that, there'll be the more extreme side. But after the Civil Rights Act did pass, Martin Luther King Jr. was not done because he wanted the economics as well
Hmm.
too, the economic equality as well too.
He
But
was a communist, even though he refused to call himself a communist because he thought communist meant atheist.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's
Well,
I understand that.
and that's like, you know, I refuse to call myself an atheist, even though technically I am. I also am religious. I have a religion.
Hmm.
But the problem with me is
You have butterflies on your titties. You're obviously a not a goth. You're a
the
hippie
what?
dippy.
I didn't hear all of that. Sorry.
You have
You have
butterflies on your titties. You're obviously a new age hippie.
Well, I literally had sunflowers on my area.
Ah,
But anyway, um, See, now I forgot where the fuck I was going with this, John. Thanks, asshole.
Somebody talked over you? Sorry.
That never happens on this show.
You're not an atheist. But
okay.
You're.
Yeah. I am an atheist, but I don't, I don't
Call
say
him
that
so.
with my whole chest because even leaving aside the blowback from religious people,
Yeah.
blowback from other atheist people who aren't assholes.
Yeah.
There's way too many assholes. Yeah, one of those things. Assholes in the atheist community nowadays, and has been for quite some time. And I just happened to be flipping through YouTube the other day, and you get your recommendations, whatever, So I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that, whenever. And I was following Simon Dan, which is a great channel, by the way. You should follow him. He does a lot of also anti-flirter stuff. But I'm following him, and then so what pops up in my
sidebar recommended?
I recommended, and I guess it's a show called Testing the Limits. Dillahunty.
Oh, Matt fucking Dillahunty. And not ally.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able. If you're searching,
well, I mean, it's been like, how long has it been since the ACA dissolved?
Let's say I'm searching for social justice alchemy. Okay, and I put that into the title of my search box. If there's something else that pops up that I don't want to see that channel, I can't block it.
Yeah.
It has to be like a natural progression of the algorithm. But anyway.
Yeah, Google sucks. Google has sucked for a couple of years now. How long ago was it when the ACA dissolved? Was that like 5 years ago?
I think it's like around 2020 or something like that. Yeah.
14, 15?
Oh, really? Was that long ago? It's like that.
And I happened to be looking through one of my folders the other day because I have probably 3,000 memes that are named in my meme folder. Okay. I have probably 6,000 that are not named. So I have to scroll through, each time, look for it. And I'm going to name them one of these days. And never know it. But anyway, so I'm looking through all this stuff for something completely unrelated. And I came across a folder, and an item in that folder that had where I have all the receipts. I have all the emails, all the texts, of screenshots, short clips of videos, whatever, of why the show imploded.
6 years ago.
Why we lost faith in the show. Why a ton of people lost faith in the show. Why almost every single host abandoned it. Why almost every single YouTube mod. There might have been 2. I was the administrator for YouTube for them. Excuse me. Why almost every single YouTube mod abandoned it, etc. And yet I get called out directly saying that I'm a liar. Let's have a little battle of receipts and see how well that goes for you. Anyway.
It was 6 years ago.
Dave says meme 1, meme 2. Yeah, that's going to be
informative and explanatory.
Funny, but that's not going to be as helpful as I'd like.
I don't have a meme folder on my a PC. I probably could do that for a Google Drive.
Yeah, I don't have a meme folder. The reason that we have a lot of memes showing up on screen is not because I have a meme folder.
I just shared the memes.
I have a meme folder. I have a meme folder for all of my show stuff that I've done recently, all the way back 7 years. I have so the average book or piece of writing or draft, usually runs about anywhere from 200K to 4 megs. Okay. I have a writing folder that's just my writing.
That's like 25 3.5 floppies.
11. That's 15 gigs.
What are floppies? Are those the 3D printed save icon?
They're talking about putting a generation in between Gen X and millennials. The Oregon Trail generation from 76 to 82. For that in between who had the weird experience of growing up without the internet, but then growing up with the internet and in that years. And because the thing is, I'm right there. I don't identify as millennial or Gen X. I identify as Oregon Trail because It's like I had woods porn and I had internet porn.
I had the D&D game, Dungeons and Dragons,
Which
Pool of
one?
Radiance,
Or Azure Bonds or
Dungeons
Pool
and
of
Dragons,
Radiance?
Pool of Radiance, Dark Queen
Pool of Radiance.
that was on literal floppies. You know,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah,
Oh, the
literal-
5-inch.
When I moved
The 5-inch
to
floppies,
Oklahoma in '93, I had a moderate hard drive. It wasn't like, top of the line, but it wasn't
Yeah.
the cheapest one out either. Okay. And it was 40 megs.
Yep.
Those games had to be small. Steve Jobs got a job with a place by convincing his friend to do his work for him by cutting down the number of like little bits and pieces that were necessary on the actual fucking hardware for a game.
Yeah.
I don't remember who Steve Jobs' friend's name that he robbed.
Steve Wozniak?
That's the one.
Yeah. I remember using BASIC to program my computer. I remember playing games with BASIC.
10 to have a drink. 20 go to 10.
It was a version of Missile Command.
Oh, yes.
It was letters that would come down on the screen and appear back and forth, and you had to try to get
Oh, it's occasional games involved, so yeah.
putting your program on a literal cassette tape.
Oh,
Yep.
Use a pencil to like rewind those cassette tapes.
Or a pen. It could have been a
Somebody
bit.
y'all should watch, by the way. Somebody y'all should watch, by the way. And I don't agree with him on everything. He's a capitalist, and he's pro UBI for some people. Okay? So I don't agree with him, but about 90% of the rest of the shit that he says, I do. And he also does a lot of funny stuff. His name is Tom Powell Jr. Okay. He's on the YouTube somewhere. And he had a post one time where it wasn't just he's an older man. He's got gray beard, short crew cut glasses, whatever. Okay. He also gets high on screen, etc. So he's also very much pro the trans community, pro the queer community. He has a daughter who's a lesbian. But anyway, so he's sitting there. He says, "I want to show you this." And then it flips to this woman who I think it's on TikTok, because he's more on TikTok than he is YouTube. Okay. And he's on TikTok, or she's on TikTok, and she's holding up. It isn't, but let's say this is a cassette tape, because she's holding up. So I just want to show y'all, this is a perfect example of the late 1900s music. Okay. It's just like,
well, it was in the last century.
Like, oh my God. I remember a joke a while back where it was, probably about 10 years ago, it was a little bit more prevalent, where it said this person gone up to, it was like usually it's a Walmart checkout, a cashier or whatever. And they were buying beer. And the cashier says, "What, can I see your ID?" Which is standard, right?
Yeah.
So they start to pull it out and hand it to the cashier, and the cashier looks down and says, "No, that's okay, you got it." And she says, "Well, you didn't even look at it long enough." He said, "I saw the 19, it's okay." And she's like,
It's weird for me to get asked for that, because I mean, I am gray. Or at least my beard is.
Yeah, I got white hair in my beard right now. Right now, you can see it.
My beard used to be brown and red. Now it's brown and gray.
I don't have any gray hair yet. I'll be, what is this, mid-June?
Yep.
3 months, I'll be 65.
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
Nice.
But my mom passed
Black
away.
don't crack, neither do Norwegian.
Huh?
Black don't crack, neither do Norwegian.
Irish, but still, yeah. Maybe it's the Guinness.
The Guinness.
My mom had coal black hair until she passed away. She passed away at 75. My dad had started to get a little gray on the temples and a little bit of gray in his beard when he died at 75.
Oh, wow, yeah.
My mom is fully silver. My dad is gray. And they're both in their 70s.
It's not a common thing, but it is something that we're called Black Irish because of dark hair. Well,
Well, actually, I'm pretty sure that's a myth about the Spanish Armada.
Yeah. Until I was 7 or 8 years old, I had almost pure white hair,
Oh, wow.
Mm.
and
Black and
everybody in
blonde.
my family did. And then as we get older, it got darker. Now,
I see.
all my sisters
Mhm.
and my
That's the
brothers
sin building up.
have almost pure black hair. I don't. This is my natural hair color.
Ah, nice. The sin building up.
Wait,
Oh,
wait, wait,
God.
wait. You don't dye your hair like pink and blue? Are you sure you're trans?
Oh, honey, I have had my hair all kinds of colors. Okay?
Is-
I've had
how
it
can I
green,
tell you? How can I
okay?
tell you're a SJW if you don't have pink or purple hair?
Right. I've had a Kelly green, I've had a blue, and I don't mean old lady blue, I mean Smurf blue. Okay.
Oh, yes, nice.
Black, et cetera, which is kind of ironic is that when I have had my hair black when I was working at Walmart, probably once every couple of years I would dye it black for the hell of it.
And then you didn't have butterflies, you had moths on your titties. Because,
Right,
like
exactly.
David Skog said, goths love moths.
Yep. And customers, I mean, the employees didn't because they knew me. I'd been working there long enough. But every once in a while, I get a customer walk by.
David, die another day. Yeah, die.
Yeah, die another day. They would ask me what tribe I was from. I would say, I'm not, because we have a lot of Anishinaabe and Ojibwe here. Okay.
Mm.
So after I got the DNA studies done and whatever, I had two done so that I could compare, and they're pretty much exactly the same. My grandmother on my dad's side, her name is Donatella Maria Luisa Spelo, and good German name. She was 1/4 Armenian, and I'm guessing that's where that popped up because I saw that on the results, and I knew the term, and I knew that Andre Agassi, the tennis player, was Armenian, but I didn't know anybody else was, who anybody else. The Kardashians are. Okay. I always thought she was half indigenous and half white. She's half indigenous and half Armenian. And so the Armenians can go from my ass is white.
Yes.
I'm white. Okay. Like
yeah.
People write on me when they can't find.
I mean, they're right there on the cusp of Eurasia.
All the way to dark.
Yeah.
Natural, without any tanning or anything. I'm assuming, and high cheekbones and whatever. So I'm assuming that's what it was. Like, I'm not native.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Nia Sarkeesian, famous Sarkeesian. She is also Armenian as well, so Sarkeesian. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way apparently it should be pronounced. I'm just being a dick. But
well, you're always a dick.
But I mean, we here in the U.S. it's Sarkeesian, but apparently, according to Anita herself, at one point, like 15 fucking years ago, it's supposed to be Sarkeesian.
I see. Maybe Joe McClory. I do remember Wag the Dog as well too, and they did pick like some kind of like Middle Eastern or like country as well too, far enough that like most Americans or most USA citizens can find it on the map as well too, and it's good enough for like a conflict to happen that like hey, let's vote for the president that's currently.
I'm pretty sure they always use made up countries in those COD Blops games.
Yeah, exactly. I did enjoy that movie, and like JP, I played Rogue Squadron on the N64 like a year or two later after it was released and stuff like that. But I remember the Rogue Squadron games as well too. Those were a lot of fun as well too. I did play.
How are my headphones running out of batteries already?
Because they hate you.
Yes.
Speaking of games, if anybody would like to gift me a game, they don't have to, but it would be nice if they did. They finally came out. It's been on my wish list for a long time. They finally came out with Dune Awakening on Steam.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's $60.
Dune?
Dune
or Doom?
Dune.
D-U-N-E.
D-U-N-E, yes.
It's like the Herbert franchise and blah, 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 and whatever.
Do you get to ride the worm?
That
sounds like porn.
Not sure.
The preview, or the reviews, I can say previews. The reviews and whatever, and the that have come out of it from so far is that it's just fucking phenomenal, and I love that type of game anyway. Yeah. And then when you put it in my favorite franchise of literature,
we
if
can't be friends.
save up $5 a month for a fucking year. I don't care, but I'm getting that game.
No, I've seen like Dune: The Awakening being like played a lot on like from like the streamers I follow as well too, and so they seem to be enjoying it and like so. Yeah, it seems like a good game, and it's like so. Since I don't know if we had this conversation about the like a Dune franchise as well too. So I guess the only movie of like Dune that I've seen. Oh no, I've seen the sci-fi miniseries of Dune as well too. But like
You
I have
talking
to
about
rewatch.
Children of Doom?
Yeah, I have no. I've seen some parts of Children of Dune, but not all of it. I know I should watch Children of Dune because they're good. So like I can't speak much. I haven't seen the recent movies, so I heard that they're decent as well too. But like, what's your opinion on the 1980s Dune?
David Lynch's Dune sucks ass.
Yes.
Flat out sucks ass.
But it had
Tell you what,
Sting topless.
The plot was
God.
kind of plot wasn't too bad. Okay, as far
Okay.
as the script writing, whatever, it wasn't too bad. Okay.
Mhm.
First of all, but the
He did what he
screenwriting
could to compress that
and,
Jungian
like,
bullshit down into
the
like a
whole
2 hour
like he had fucking these pustules on his body, whatever, which was
Yeah.
not Darren was.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the Harkonnens are supposed to be disgusting.
Yeah, and they are disgusting, but they did a hell of a lot better version in the reboot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they
And
had
I'm
more
sorry,
money
but much
and
as
they
I
had more
love-
time.
I love Patrick Stewart, and I do.
Mhm.
He plays
Yeah,
Dirty Howard in the
Yeah.
in the Lynch version. Okay,
Yeah.
even he couldn't save that movie.
Mhm.
You could keep warm in Siberia, a town for a year,
Mhm.
based on the lumber you get from the wooding acting in that film.
Mm.
just horrible.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And they had but even in the new one, okay,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, because I'm a little bit of a fanatic about it, just in case. But even in the new one,
Mhm.
yeah, I agree there, Joe. 2 hours is just too short. Even in the
Yeah.
new one, like that's not the way a still suit face parts are supposed to look. Not the way they're supposed to work.
Mhm.
You're not walking around in the desert with nothing covering your mouth
Mhm.
and just these two little plugs in your nose.
Mhm.
Okay. However, having said that,
Mhm.
they got a lot of stuff right. What I heard about the new Dune game Awakening is that it's in a twisted alternate universe. So Leto, Paul's father, did not die. He got attacked, but he did not
Oh,
die.
Julie.
So some of this stuff has been
Oh no,
changed.
Leto and sorry, no, not Julie.
Right. Yeah. But Leto did not die, and there's a few other things that were kind of majorly. The new Dune had Paul Dillon playing a tree. How many sands must a worm go down? I have to give him credit where credit is due. Bob Dylan is one of the premier
Oh, he's fucking
songwriters
amazing.
and wordsmiths.
Can't
of
sing
the
for
19th
shit,
and
but he can
20th
write
century.
songs.
He can't.
Good.
You're right. He can't sing for shit.
Mhm.
So, like, if you watch that, "We Are the World,"
Mhm.
I always kind of, turn the volume down on the Dylan part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not very long, and I could skip it, but I'm just at the point now where I'm just like, no,
Mhm.
okay, he's done. I can turn it back up.
The thing about it, like all on Watchtower, that Richard was a Dylan song, and he's just like, you listen to the Dylan version, it's like, okay, so like that. Then he compared to Jimmy
I
Hendrix,
mean,
it's like, okay, Jimi Hendrix is better.
what were they?
Well, a lot of people have made artists doing covers have kind of made them their own.
Oh yeah,
Like the Animals with House of the Rising Sun.
Indigo
More
Girls
recently-
did a much better version of Tangled Up in Blue.
More recently, you have
Made it gay too.
No, nice.
how was it? Johnny Cash.
Oh yeah, with her
right before he died of Hurt
Yeah.
by Nine
Oh,
Inch
yeah.
Nails.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah. It was
much
so
prefer
good
Johnny Cash.
That Reznor said that he said it was his song now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
It's
for,
like I lost a
Prince-
girlfriend.
For
yeah,
Prince, he wrote and performed Nothing Compares to You, but when Sinead O'Connor did it,
Yeah.
just blew up everything.
Yeah.
And then the Pope died a couple times. Oh, we have a new Pope. And he
Yeah, that's
sucks.
right. The American Pope, Chicago Pope.
Yeah, and which tells you what you need to know about America.
New Boston is
Because
the
no, I'm saying that America is no longer the empire. Because for decades they refused to make an American pope because they wouldn't want an American pope to be because America was the center of the world and you wouldn't want the pope to do that too. So
Well, look at what
now we have an
JFK had to
American
do to
pope because
convince
America is
people.
no longer the center.
JFK had to convince people that he wasn't going to take orders from the Pope
Yeah, because he was Catholic.
because he was
And
Catholic.
that was it was just like, oh my god, a Catholic person is like, and yeah, you have to forget it's like quaint now, but like no, there was time that I think the KKK still hates the Catholics as well too.
Oh no, white supremacists. I got a book in the mail a couple of years back about this weird conspiracy theory about the Catholics.
I'll be right back.
No
But
problem.
I mean, the fact is that having an American pope is the signal that the world no longer views the U.S. as the monopole. China is now the eminent power.
Oh, that's a good point. Though, so this is like the second American pope because like Francis was a South American pope as well too because he was from Buenos Aires.
Okay, I mean.
It's that people from South America and Central America do consider themselves Americans as well.
I was just talking about the US.
USA. Yes,
but I mean the fact is, I'm just saying the U.S. has Donald Trump has cost the U.S. so much that the Vatican was willing to elect an American pope.
Right, a USA pope. Yeah.
Another
American pope, a USA pope. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, so much of the papacy is Latin that that obviously you're going to get a lot. You're going to get Latin. You're not going to get a black pope. Oh shit! And you're definitely not going to get a pope with a vagina. But
no, they're not allowing priests to be women to be priests.
You should be able to share a pic.
Okay. Let me dog it up here.
And David Skog shared something from YouTube.
Where Bob Dylan did the press conference in the mid-60s and where he was just hilarious as well too. Hopefully you can understand him because like as George R.P. said, like they taught the Bob Dylan movie.
The young was shining.
Where are you, you wee bastard? There we go. Okay. La-da-dee. Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm getting ready to the time I got to leave, but not quite yet. So I just want to say that I have been petless for probably 13 years, 14 years. I love animals.
Petless.
My hierarchy goes. My favorite animal is baby goats, hands down, no question. But I can't keep a baby goat in a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, that's fair.
Never easily, anyway. And then they tend to get big. Okay, and that's another thing people might not realize is that
goats get big.
Female goats do, but most male goats get to be assholes when they get big. Okay, some female goats. As babies, there's nothing more adorable. Okay, so goats for me are about a 9.8 on 1 to 10. And then cats are about a 9.7 and dogs are about a 9.6. I love dogs too. Just with my circumstances and whatever, I can't really afford, I can't really have cats. So I wanted to show this.
Something cat food.
Cat food, yes. Okay, but it's specifically kitten food. I put a
Do you have a kitten? Show us the kitten. I made a kitten. Where's the kitten? Give me the kitten.
I put out the URL on my Facebook and on my Blue Sky and whatever for an Amazon wish list. And where the hell is the share?
It's down at the bottom. You have to
okay, but I'm trying to find, why is it not documents or screens? Anyway, so while I'm looking for this, let me open up the share again because maybe I had to have that open. I put out the URL for the wish list, and it was for cat food, a litter box, et cetera, because being on a fixed income, it is pretty difficult for me to do this. Why is this not? There it is. I found it. It's pretty difficult for me to do this. But our Pride is the 29th, which is like what, 2 weeks and Sunday, whatever it is. And I
2
get
weeks.
paid that like 2 days before that, so it's not really a whole lot of time. So I put this out.
Getting.
Oh, look at those.
Let me, yeah. Why is that not showing?
Something's in front of it?
There was a kitten. And
Yeah,
now
hold on a
there's a
IR
text
screen.
box.
Why is it not? There's
There's that blue sky post for like John Brockman to go to and see for
I moved it
himself.
away from there.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Two
There we go.
kittens. A
Yep, two
ragdoll and a tabby. Which one is
so,
now yours?
A Torty and a Tabby, they're both mine.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I put a thing in the local Facebook, and looking, because we have a thing where, for our town, free stuff, you can give stuff or ask for stuff or whatever. And the only thing you can't do is sell it. Okay. You could ask for something in trade, but you can't like sell it or ask for money for it. And I put that in there, and of course, with our area, unfortunately, a lot of people just like, they don't get their cats fixed and whatever, so they just dump them off.
Oh, yeah.
But I happen to apparently get, the universe was good with me on that situation because they're both already fixed.
Okay, good.
Owners who got, well, the one is already, and the other one is getting theirs fixed this week. So we'll be ready, whatever, for next week. But as long as one of them is fixed, that's fine. So the Torty on the right, that's Shere Khan.
Torty on the right.
Yeah, there you go. I was I was trying to figure out a name or whatever, I'm farting around on the internet looking for, inspiration or whatever. And it just so happened, because I watch a lot of Disney movie clip reactions. And I went to turn my YouTube on, and the first one that popped up was the scene with the 4 vultures, where they sing the song "We're Your Friends," and they have Shere Khan. And it's like, okay. And so then when I saw the other one, it immediately popped in my head. I didn't need any other inspiration for this is Flower from Bambi.
Oh, yes.
Except that it's a girl, but other than that, it's Flower from Bambi. So yeah, Flower and Shere Khan. So I want to thank the people. They got me the cat food, which I showed you. A litter box, a litter pad for underneath the litter box. Was it something else? Oh, a big bag of litter, and then a laser pointer.
Ah, nice.
Right? That's in the bylaws. You have to get a laser.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
there are cats that don't react to the laser pointer, but those are the exception to prove the rule that most cats react to the laser pointer.
When I had my cats in Minnesota, I had an 8-year-old named I called her nickname is Baz, but her name was Bastet. And then I had a 2-year-old named Oreo. I got Oreo like about a month after I got Bastet. And she was so fat.
Love the name, by the way.
Yeah, I purposely chose that. Yeah, she was the window. We had a huge picture window. I was on the 3rd floor, and a huge picture window in my living room. Okay, which was about maybe about his height. So I'm guessing about 2 feet off the ground. Okay, the ledge. She couldn't jump up there. She was too fat. So I put a cardboard box next to it. She could jump up on that and then jump up on the window. So of course I put her on a diet, which she wasn't really happy about. But
cats
so
sort of
then,
like it so picky about things.
2 weeks later, I got Oreo, and so I would like the first time I had the laser pointer. It's all carpeted. First time I had the laser pointer, I'm running around, right? And Oreo's just chasing. He's gonna kill that thing. He's gonna catch that thing. He's gonna kill it. He's gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it. And I went by Baz, and she's like, "No, I'm not chasing it." And she eventually did when she started losing weight and stuff. She eventually did, but I had to separate him for a while because I was like,
diet another day, as David Scott said.
Food, and Oreo's trying to because he's younger, he's trying to what's the word I want? Intimidate her into letting him have the food. Oh no, it was the other way around.
Yeah.
She was trying to eat all his food. Because she was so used to eating, because the lady that had her before me, food is love, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I miss those too. And I've had many cats and dogs over the years or whatever. But they are both, they will be 2 months old when I get them.
Ah, nice.
So they're gonna be bang, 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 bang. You know.
Yeah, so much energy too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love cats. So
Yeah.
and I would get it. I would have gotten a dog maybe if I lived on the ground floor, but I have arthritis and I have problems going up and down my stairs of doom.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in here has seen pictures.
Kind of inverted for me. I live on the ground floor because my dog can't walk up and downstairs.
Right. And if I lived on the ground floor, I could go out then easily and back and forth. But the thing is, I can't do that 4 or 5 times a day. And it would be fair to the dog unless it was a really tiny dog, or which I don't get tiny dogs, or like got an older rescue or something where it was just more laid back because the dog needs exercise. I can't just take it out once a day. That's not fair to the dog.
Yeah, exactly.
So I put the animal's welfare above mine.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a pet, you have a responsibility.
Yes.
And you know, most cats live on average 10 to 20 years. I'm 65. So you know, it'll be 75 to 85, you know, and I figured that these are probably the last pets I'm gonna have.
Yep.
Whether it's I could die of an aneurysm tomorrow, or you know, whatever, or move into a nursing home or something. So
and when you die, they'll be able to feed off you for a while.
oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because cats don't give a shit. Dogs might wait. Cats are like, nah, I'm eating that motherfucker now.
Well, cats don't have a good sense of smell, so you stop smelling like you after a day or two.
Right. I smell like you mean just a different kind of smell. Jordan says laser pointers are not really good for cats because they can't catch them. That's the point.
Yeah, I mean it's good for them to win.
Yes.
Right. So when I play, I have a leather a thing of leather, a leather.
I'm sure you do.
I have a long leather string.
I'm sure you do.
So that's what.
Are those feather things? You know, because at least they can catch those.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I let Sasha catch the leather, and then I just toss the rest of the spool on top of him.
And then
like it died, and he won.
Yes, exactly. And feed them afterwards because like that's their kill, and so they get to eat after the kill as well too. That's what I heard from like the kitten lady as well too. So Siobhan, you probably need to like go because like
I probably got another 10 minutes. I got everything else for a change.
Hey, Isaiah.
All I have to do is turn it out. So
there he is. 20 minutes late, but not missed. Not really.
Oh, you're
not
late,
unwelcome.
You're
definitely missed.
Yeah, you're on time.
You're on time. Yes, you're like a wizard. You
Oh, God damn it! She beat me to it.
You're like a teleporter. We're like a teleporter. I just beamed in my work uniform.
There you go.
Well, hopefully,
you can have the teleporter, and that's cool. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have one, but what I'd want more is a replicator.
Yes,
I love replicators.
Yeah, then we can have our fully automated luxury gay space communism.
Yeah,
no, yes. But if we get replicators, then what are the fast food restaurants going to do? They can't. Oh my God! If we have
they can't oppress you.
Right.
No, I was saying if we get replicators, that would like throw so much of the world order into absolute chaos.
Have any of you ever watched the Cracked satire? It's like a meeting group where there's a woman and 3 guys, and they all meet in this restaurant, and they tear apart whatever it is. Like they torn apart like Batman and this and that. Remember before? Well, so one of them was really good. I don't remember the exact title of it, but I know it's Cracked, CRACKED, and it was they were tearing apart Star Trek, and how it's not a utopia. And at first, the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, whatever, you're probably wrong, but okay. By the end, I was like, no, they're right.
I mean, well, the term
they're fascist post scarcity. What's the thing?
Well,
you don't have the military Starfleet without being fascist.
Right. The prime directive is important unless we don't feel like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's only important when
so
for the story.
Fucking liberal colonialist.
Yep. Again, the Borg does not represent communism in this war too, and if it would be like Stalinism, if it's like that, but no, the Borg represents like white supremacy instead of colonialism because look, they're chaos motherfuckers, and they say
I've always wanted to cosplay as a Borg though.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're not welcome in our club.
I would just, I
I
would
think
just
it would
paint
be
my
awesome.
face.
Fuck John. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would just paint my face gray. I'm gonna call it a simulated blackface. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Yes.
No, it's called whiteface. It's a whole thing.
And you
There
can
was a
do
vaudeville
whiteface.
tradition.
The reverse, yeah.
What about Bjorn Borg? I don't know.
Who's Tom McDonald?
Oh, Tom McDonald's a friend of ours. He used to like co-host with us on social.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I might recognize
Oh,
him.
He's up in your neck
I
of the
thought you were
woods.
talking like a movie star or something
Hey,
like that.
hey,
No,
Siobhan,
he's
are you
just a
guys,
friend of ours. He's
are
old
you guys
today.
okay up there, Siobhan, in Minnesota? I know you guys had some dude.
Well, I'm in Michigan, but yeah,
Michigan.
that's what I'll be covering on my show
Mhm.
is the
assassination of two politicians. State
political
senators.
adventuring from the right.
Oh, yeah,
Minnesota.
political adventuring from the right, because like these were like shootings that happened that like killed like one state senator and her husband as well too, and another one was also killed as well too.
Oh, let me guess. They were lone wolves.
Yes.
Well, there's another person that made a point is that because there was the one.
Mhm.
I will say this because the rest of it's on my show. Go watch it.
Yeah.
But I will say this: the one senator and her husband were killed.
Mhm.
The other one was attacked and shot, but not killed.
Oh, okay,
Here's
that's a
the
good
thing.
point.
If they both had been killed,
Mhm.
it would have removed the majority
Mhm.
that the Minnesota has, that the Democrats have. They'd have
Oh,
to have
yeah.
a special election, but
Yeah.
it would remove that majority.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I fucking
'cause,
hate
yeah,
the right because
Yeah.
they will do this and we won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you ask a Florida sheriff down here, they'll say it's like our side that's violent though.
Oh,
So
yeah.
was the Florida sheriff just in the news in the last
Ask
24
any
hours.
fucking cop.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I'm
why they'll
talking about.
attack you.
Attack and or kill. He didn't use that word kill, but they were going to attack and wipe out anybody who did protest or whatever else.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. And that's I'm getting ready to go, but that's one of the last things I want to say is
Yeah.
the right has this fantasy of all the people on the left are woke.
Yeah.
And they're latte drinkers.
Well, I mean,
and
it's
sweatpants wearers.
it's
they're
the
effeminate,
violent
and
hordes.
don't
They
know how
are
to do
distant.
things, and
They
they
are
can't change
individually
the
weak,
tires.
but there's so
And
many of them.
motherfucker, you should meet some of my relatives. Okay. I'm not saying I'm badass. I'm not saying they're badass, but we all have to know how to defend ourselves. And we have to defend ourselves. We've been
Just
using
like
those means
Iran
in some
defends
cases
itself.
for 30 or 40 years. Okay. So you
Yeah.
might want to rethink your bullshit a little bit.
Yeah, there's like a song that like my friend Economicon would play on her like Clone Hero streams of like trans girls get guns as well too. And that's a trans band. Old members of that band, I have to like look up the band's name, that they're all trans or queer or something like that. And so
Have you ever seen the video on YouTube, Cows with Guns?
Yes.
I love that video.
Are
So
you
you know
guys
what?
familiar with?
Over
I'm
the
gonna
hill
be
comes chicken with choppers.
Are you guys familiar with the
I'm going to
streamer
be ready
named
to trans
Tactical?
with guns.
Are you guys familiar with someone called Tactical Girlfriend? She's like a trans gun YouTuber.
Not offhand, no, but I'll check her out. That's for sure.
Yeah, Tactical. So TAC.
That sounds
and then
familiar.
Yeah, she's a trans gun enthusiast.
Yep, I see that. I'll have to
Yeah.
definitely check that out.
So yeah, they like to think that we're unarmed and that no, we'll shoot a bitch.
One of the stickers I have for my shop is pistols, cross pistols, and then rainbow colored, of course, and the caption says trans people have hobbies too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna head out and maybe refill my coffee and get ready for my show. So my show's on in 15, 20 minutes or so, whatever it is, on YouTube, the Irish Mouthpiece. I know I've Lord, I've probably had at least a dozen names over the years, but
Well, you're trans. That's
This-
normal.
This show is going to be about ICE. It's going to be about the assassinations, and it's going to be about Numpty and his little birthday parade and how that didn't quite go the way he wanted it to.
No, but I did like seeing World War II tanks though. So
Well,
yeah.
The Abrams, those aren't World War II.
No.
World War II
not
was
the
Sherman's.
Abrams. Not
Yeah, World War II were Shermans and Panzers.
Well, they had a few like Shermans there I saw in the parade, not the Abrams.
You're so autistic.
I didn't watch the whole thing, and let me
Can
give
you
you a
tell?
clue about my content. Neither did Donald Trump.
Donald Trump just wanted something big and noisy. He likes
Thanks for
big
the
stuff.
shout out. I appreciate it. So
The thing
where's
about
my thing?
the thing about Donald Trump is Donald Trump likes a lot of big stuff because it's like a Tonka thing.
Also, he
I
has a
don't
small
think-
penis.
Remember the picture where he was sitting in a truck?
Yeah!
And he was leaned forward,
Yeah.
like, he's like a little boy, 4-year-old boy going, I got a truck, meet.
This is like some Tonka toy shit.
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
Honestly,
All
if I got behind the wheel of a big truck, I would do the same thing.
I got
For me, it wouldn't be a truck,
I got
but
to
if it
drive
was
a
like a space shuttle or something,
No,
I would
I
do
got-
that in a heartbeat. I'd go up
I
space
got to-
shuttle
I
in a
got-
heartbeat.
oh yeah, oh absolutely.
I've said before,
Um,
Isaiah, that if they had the stuff set up to do it, I don't know if you've seen the movie The Martian.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have. Yeah,
Yep.
that's a great
So
movie.
if they
Long
had the
time
stuff set
ago.
up to
I've read
do
the
it,
book a few times.
they could give me a one-way ticket to Mars.
Yeah.
As long as they gave me the habitat and stuff. And you can send stuff up ahead of time. That's
Yes,
what a lot of
exactly.
people don't realize. You can send fuel, you can send oxygen, you can send, whatever up ahead
We
of
could
time.
send space
Of course,
trains. Yeah.
a lot of it would have to be like your food growing and whatever would have to be underground, but you can build caverns or whatever, all kind of stuff.
Oh, I agree, and that's why I don't think Elon Musk understands space travel. He just sees it like he doesn't understand the nuances of it, how actually hard it is to
He doesn't
do it.
understand anything. A lot of people think, oh, he's a genius inventor, whatever. No, he didn't invent Tesla. He didn't
Yeah.
invent AI.
He didn't invent any goddamn thing. Neither did fucking what's his name? The guy
All
back
he
in the
did was
day.
use Steve
Steve Jobs?
blood diamond money to buy stuff.
Steve Jobs.
Mhm.
I was thinking way back in the day. The guy who
Yeah.
was opposite Tesla, the light bulb.
All right,
Edison.
Oh, Edison. Yeah.
Have a great day.
He just bought shit.
Later.
But
Yeah,
I was
Bye,
gonna say Wozniak. I didn't know we were moving to.
Well, we mentioned Steve Jobs earlier, and Steve Wozniak, that the Steve Jobs just stole all the work.
I'm just saying, rich people don't invent shit; they steal shit.
I agree. Yeah, but no, I think Thomas Edison. I think he Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb. It was like someone else as well too.
No,
He
it
sometimes
was
wait,
thousands
Thomas
of
Edison-
workers
Thomas
that he
Edison
paid and
didn't-
stole.
yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb, so we were lied to throughout our history. That this
Oh
was-
my God! It's almost like black people existed. Oh.
Thomas Graham T. Woods, and he invented a lot of shit.
Captain 101, Owen McDonald.
Appropriate the labor of others. Yep.
Exactly, as well too. And Thomas Edison patented the things as well too.
Yep.
And so that's how he
You know why Hollywood is in Hollywood? They were trying to get away from
Edison.
Thomas Edison and his bat-wielding thugs because he thought he
Yes.
had the patent on making movies.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I have heard that story. That's
You
why
probably
they
heard
made
it from me. I'm unoriginal.
Yes, I heard it from Behind the Bastards because Behind the Bastards mentioned that briefly the history of Hollywood and when they were covering how Hollywood helped the Nazis.
I think I heard it in my film school when we were talking about the early days of film and
Mhm.
Yeah.
because didn't Edison have like a little film company?
Oh
He
yeah,
did.
oh,
He
yeah.
had the
I
patent.
mean, his people were one of the first groups to develop
Yeah.
moving pictures, and he thought that meant that he got to own making movies.
Yeah, exactly. Also the first Nickelodeon as well too at Pittsburgh. That's surprising. That the first movie ever shown in the theaters was Pittsburgh. I would not
I
have
thought
guessed
it was. Oh no! I'm thinking of something. Fred Ott's Sneeze was a Nickelodeon.
When I heard the
Okay.
term Nickelodeon, I like okay. So think about that.
Obviously,
like,
it's the Children's Cartoon Network.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but when I heard it mentioned in Titanic, when Jack and Rose were talking, I was like,
Oh my God, Titanic!
Nickelodeon. What? He says he signed a Nickelodeon once. I was like, huh? But a Nickelodeon was like
It was
Not
a
a
place you went and you paid a nickel and you got to see a movie.
right. I was gonna say a peep show, but it wasn't a peep show.
No, it was just.
I know that's something else entirely.
And you could go to a wax museum and get the. Oh my God, my fucking headphone died. God, these fucking. Shitballs. Why can I not hear? I can't hear shit. Stupid fucking computer. There we go. Now I can hear you. There we
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We got you.
go.
Chat, can you hear us?
Oh shit! I didn't even know if they could hear you or not.
I assume it's because of like they have the. Okay, they can hear us. Okay, so Isaiah Taylor, as you were asking about the No Kings protest yesterday as well too.
Yes. Did anyone go?
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry.
I did
I-
not. I've been working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
me
No
too.
Kings, Juneteenth, and DJT's fucking.
Juneteenth
Pride
is
Parade.
June 19th. Juneteenth is June 19th.
Well, I mean, but it's the weekend near
Before.
Juneteenth. Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna rescind that because it's a DEI holiday. They're gonna rescind that.
Mhm. David Scott, I did not see that music video. I see like Weird Al Yankovic's like a version of like a cover of that song or his like a parody of that song, and saw him. And I saw Weird Al Yankovic being Bob Dylan and saying a bunch of palindromes as well too. Hey Toyota, it's a Toyota. No, me I'm owned as well too. And
But
yesterday,
yeah, it was like what 45 million for his parade that only like 100,000 people showed up and
yeah, he was not happy about that. I see photos as well too. And that like that's good Schadenfreude for me, honestly. That's like, hey, but like,
well,
no.
they like to say that the military is apolitical, but the military has always been right wing to some degree.
Far right.
Far right wing.
Yeah,
always.
I mean, it has a far right wing bent. It's not like
It always has been like that.
which is funny because the people there are like working class poor, so I don't know why they would be far right, but I
Yeah,
guess
how they grew up, probably.
I guess you got well. It's the brainwashing. It's the brainwashing.
I mean, many
I
people
feel
grew up conservative because of their parents and
yeah
their family as well too.
yeah.
And
Well,
if your
yeah.
family,
We are surrounded by so much fucking propaganda.
yeah,
Yeah.
as well. But
I was able to break out of it. I guess my autism helped. I was able to think critically and see past the bullshit.
Yeah,
My dad, who was in the first Gulf War, he was like when we invaded Iraq the second time, he was
Yeah.
like we're only there for oil.
Oh
We're only there-
yeah, that
we're
was
only
true.
there for the resources. So
No, that's true. Yeah. We in 2003, we were only there for the oil and stuff like that. I remember Ralphie May on like the last comic stand in the first season for his like at the finale for like him trying to win it. That was part of his sadness still too. Let's line up. I want cheaper gas. It's like he was doing it jokingly so too, but you know there are people that are serious about that. I just want cheaper gas. I don't care who we have to bomb. Let's light it up as well too. And that kind of like shows how pervasive like the American machismo of military machismo is well too, but that's what the thing, and so that's why it's so easy, and it always happens as well too, that like military and pro-military people are tend to be like right wing because it's about like conserving the nation and protecting the nation.
And also, the military is a thoroughly hierarchical organization.
Yes, exactly.
That teaches people to value hierarchy, and that is a thoroughly right-wing thing.
Oh yeah, that's why you get those right wingers that like are Star Trek fans because of the militarism in Star Trek.
Yep.
I don't mind. Well, like I don't mind a hierarchy here and there. I mean, I don't know. Like
a gasp of shock and alarm.
I mean,
I mean, the fact is that it makes sense sometimes in limited contexts.
The thing is,
Yeah,
so
like
Isaiah, think about this. The anarchists are against of hierarchies is where it says always someone that's a superior, and there's always someone that's an inferior as well too.
Yep.
Is that always
but
hard to
but
work
I feel
against?
I
And
feel
the
like we
situation tries to maintain itself for the sake of the structure rather than the
like
people.
I get that part, but I just feel like that could exist in any society. And I'm not saying that to like discredit anarchism because I kind of am one. I just think that personally, okay, like for me, I need to know someone is in charge of like the power grid or something.
Well,
I need to know that.
that's a difference. That's not authority. That's expertise, I would
Yeah.
say.
Mhm.
Okay.
People
And
often confuse that. Mhm.
yeah, and that's I think that would be a difficult thing to distinguish,
Mhm.
and it would be a constant struggle to maintain it. But that's the thing about, like Mao said, it's a constant revolution. It's a constant
Right.
struggle. We always have to keep striving to make sure that that we don't fall into complacency.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is what he meant. I haven't read the Little Red Book,
Mhm.
but we should always be striving to. We have to fight against.
It's an accidental pun, David Scott. Yes, someone it should be in charge of the power grid.
Well,
Oh yeah.
see, you also got to know too that a lot of autistic people have a strong sense of rules and following the rules, so
Oh yeah.
There's
it could
not,
also be some of
Um.
that too, you
but
know. So
the anarchists are not against rules. We're against rulers.
Yes.
sure,
Like we want a global village.
Hmm it's
Because
all
like
like
once upon a time,
horizontal
David Graeber
structures.
said we didn't go from barter to money to credit. We went
Mhm.
from credit to money to credit. It's
Yes,
just
exactly.
well,
that we
I
went from a
mean,
situation where we all knew each other and thus could
Mhm.
rely on social credit
Mhm.
to a
oh,
situation where
I,
we
I,
didn't know each other and had to go by paper.
oh, I agree with you. I think our modern system is horrible. So,
Mm.
That is capitalism.
I agree with you on that. I'm just trying to figure out what a world without hierarchies would look like, because I I don't know.
That's a good point that Joe McCory said. No one person should be responsible for the power grid. Deciding where the power
Yep.
goes is the thing that we should all have input onto as well
Mm.
too, and that's what I'm
What
for.
one person might, maybe, I don't know how the power grid works. It's black
Mm.
magic as far as I know. But no one person should be in charge of the power grid. One person should be in charge of making sure the power grid works.
Sure.
Or a group of people as well too, or anyone. And that's the thing too is the joke amongst anarchists is like, hey, if aliens come down to an ancestor study, bring us to your leader. It's like we have no leaders. Hello, hi, welcome on in. This is the Anarcho-Signalist commune of
Also,
so and so.
why would you want to meet our leaders anyway? They all suck.
Yes, well, I'm saying in the anarchist society where there's no
Right.
leaders as well too, because like because like you can have governance without government, and like also as Rudolf Rocker would say himself, he's an anarchist not because like anarchism is the end goal, because there is no end goal. Anarchism is a constant like work in progress as well too, so it's something that we constantly strive for each other as well too. And it's a similar conversation I had with Necronomicon all the way back in like November 10th, so just after the election, because Necronomicon kind of like asked me how would I run like meteorological systems as were too when like to Necronomicon she sees it that like is necessary to be some kind of quote unquote hierarchy as were too, because like the equipment for like watching hurricanes or watching tornadoes are only in certain places, but like
Yeah.
that kind of thing is like expertise more or less. And yeah, there can't be like a weather station in all places, and least some places where it's more centralized for that sort of thing. But those weather stations also do disseminate the information that they gather from their data, something like that, evenly to everyone, because that's part of the scientific process.
Yep.
You share the information. You don't hoard it.
By
I
law,
just know
NASA has to share all its data.
Hmm
I just know we just have a lot of politicians that are bought and bribed, and that part I don't like.
I
But
believe
also,
you mean we have all our politicians.
Well,
yes.
yeah.
they need money. They have to foot up the money in order to like run any campaign as well too. And usually, not always, but usually, the candidate that spends the most money wins as well too.
That's why I took comfort in never wanting to be in politics, because I would have to do some shady shit, and that's just not who I am. So
I don't know if I would like being in politics as well too,
yeah,
as an anarchist as well.
I can't
So
bullshit. I've
yes.
tried.
yeah,
I
me
spent
me
a
neither.
day struggling to describe a student in positive terms.
Mm.
Yeah, I
As
don't. Yeah, I don't bullshit either. Like I'll tell people the truth, and if you don't like it, too bad. You know.
it, yeah, someone like said like, "Oh, Geek's not gonna like this." I fired someone, just not saying who. It doesn't matter, or because like a lot of people think that like when they talk to anarchists and like how we don't like hierarchies as well too. Yes, but the key thing, I don't like coercive, unjust hierarchies, and I say, boss,
Cover your
worker.
mouth when you yawn. God.
Oh damn, that's something I gotta work.
That's okay. Is
Social
is
cues, Isaiah. Social cues.
this. It's okay. I had to like I had to remember to apologize for belching as well too, because that's what my dad wants. Anyway, but like boss worker hierarchies are just hierarchies, and it's not
Mhm.
just as because the
All
boss
hierarchies are unjust.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
I
because
mean,
like
the thing is, but I mean, expertise versus authority. That's a
Mhm.
very difficult thing to untangle.
it's
See, my
it would
teeth look like baby teeth.
maybe this could be a
No, they're not really peg-like.
no, absolutely.
Okay.
Peg,
This could
not pig.
yes.
Peg.
This yeah.
It will
Uh,
come back to you. Pay. Okay, you got me started.
this could be a conversation in the future, but it's got one of the interesting thing in the conversation I had with like other people. These people are cool. I have respect for them as well too. But like someone said to me, because like it's from their anecdotal like observations, is that like there's always going to be people that will like want to be feel superior to like others as well too, and that's just from their observation in the society we live in. But a hierarchical society and rigid hierarchical society of domination as well too. But it's just like and they point to it's like, hey, Geek, you want to like win a Fortnite match, don't you? It's like, okay, listen, yes, in the narrow sense of a competition of event as well too, like a Fortnite match, yes, I do want to win a Fortnite match as well too. But I'm not saying that like whoever has the most crown wins in Fortnite this season should be the leader of the entire world. I'm not saying that as well too. Because like,
Competition is okay.
yes.
I mean, we should. I think competition, striving, is part of human thriving. We want to be good at things, and we
Mhm.
want to know we're good at things.
Yeah, exactly. But like, the all of life should not be a competition either, as well too.
Oh, fuck you, David.
Who elects the elect? Okay, so like Isaiah, David Scott said, "Who elects the electricianer? The electricity."
Why would you elect the electrician, or don't you
No,
just
no,
hire
it's
that
like who
person?
bells the cat? Who
to like put someone in charge of the power grid as well too, as a callback to that.
who would you put in charge of the power grid? Who decides who is the? It's just a wonderful pun.
I don't.
I'm
Oh,
glad you're back, David. I'm glad you're back as well.
boy, I don't
Oh
know about
man,
all
I've missed
that.
you. But
Here's
in
what I can
honor
do.
of that wonderful, beautiful pun, I'm gonna give
Nice shirt,
you
nice,
timeout.
Thanks.
nice shirt, Isaiah. Yes, you're
Yes.
classically trained.
Oh, nice Nintendo.
And I can't
10-second
wait till the
timeout for David
Superman
just for being wonderful.
and I can't wait till the Superman movie comes out so I can just do it. You know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I want to see that the other message that like David Scott said, remove middle management positions and it'll all come scrumming down. That's what they always like say as well too, and that's response to like Owen McDonald that said of like democratically managed like management of all resources would see better utilizations of appropriate expertise and exerted like opinions something like that. And yeah, that's the thing too. It's like and people, I think a lot. I'll mention this again. We'll bring up the topic again on a future show because we're like beyond our time for this show. show as well too. I think what people think that like about society, how to run society, which is why they don't like like read about like anarchist political thought or so where too, is that it's too big. It's too big. It's just like it's hard to like manage societies as well too, and it's just like they will say that's above my pay grade, which is like term I hate, but like that's a pet beat. It's just
Punching
like
above my weight.
well, yeah, that's a acceptable like term, or
That
that's outside my
beyond
expertise.
my expertise is
Mhm.
acceptable. The
Yes.
above my pay grade is not.
Because like my criticism of the I know it's just a saying of like above my grade. You really think that information should be like like a gatekeep at a certain like a pay threshold, or like you have to pay in order to like get that like information, or that like that information should be to only the people that
I
are
think people
more
think in
deserving.
terms of rank, and
Yeah, inherently, unfortunately, and
and
goes back
I
to some
do
people
think that there's some shit that is beyond some people's expertise. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
True.
should not be in charge of Health and Human Services.
very
He does
true,
not have the
very-
expertise to deal with that shit. He's a fucking
No.
moron.
Yeah, exactly.
He thinks that autistic people can't drive cars, can't get married,
And
all that
can't
other
use the
stuff.
fucking bathroom.
Although to be fair, based on how like all
You're here, David. We can see you.
what but based on how allistic people live anyway, it's like, do
Mhm.
I really want to get married? Is it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, the way he phrases it is, and what like it's like they won't.
He really thinks that he really thinks
Well, no,
all.
No, I was saying he says that we won't be able to get married because we won't have kids to make for the to make future
He thinks we're completely non-functional. He thinks
Yeah.
we
can't pay taxes. Or autistic
would
people
like,
can't pay taxes.
the Dr. Asperger, the one who came up with the original diagnosis between Asperger versus autism. Asperger's syndrome was they're the useful ones. We can make them work.
Yeah.
They get to live.
Yes.
The autistic people died in the gas chambers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. David,
And,
like he's. Go ahead.
Oh, he did used to be like 3 minutes, David. But now I have discretion, so I gave you 10 seconds because it's funny.
Yeah. And now
So
you
the
can, like,
autistic thing used to be the diagnosis for the people who literally, I mean that literally, he was a Nazi. He sent the people who could not be made to work into the gas chambers.
Yes, exactly.
So that's what autistic used to mean.
Mhm.
Now doctors
Speaking
don't.
of Nazis,
Mhm.
speaking of Nazis, did you guys know that Audrey Hepburn was like a member of the Dutch Resistance?
Oh yeah, she was fucking
Makes
awesome.
sense.
Yeah.
She fought against the Nazis. She was the real deal. People remember her because she was pretty, but no, she was fucking awesome.
Yeah, she was Antifa before Antifa was a thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would say Antifa before Antifa's thing, but then you could also say Antifa. Well, Antifa probably was around then as well too, because like fascism.
Yeah.
Well,
just
yeah, they were. That was the resistance, la résistance.
But we are over time. We have like
yes, we
spent
are.
like 8 minutes beyond time, but like one like that gives more time for with Isaiah because he wasn't able to join us until like the
And
very end.
Isaiah, I noticed you've been yawning a lot. I hope you're not overworking yourself.
No. I mean, no. We only had to do it because we have these like kids coming for like summer school, so
yeah.
they wanted us to do it then. But like, I mean, I am making more extra money, so
Yep. So that I linked your Instagram into the chat. It's Galactic Cosplay Crafts as well too, because
I got a new phone.
nice. And so yeah, and I'm Shaban is going to be live on like her channel, the Irish Mouthpiece 1960. There's another Irish Mouthpiece that's also her channel as well too, but like I believe she's going to go live on the Irish Mouthpiece 1960 as well too. Yeah, hashtag not all hippies, like accidental gaming as well too, the Grumpy Grouch as well too. She's changed her name a lot as well too. It's just like she honestly just stick to one channel and try to grow that one, but like what the mind say? But speaking of other channels, I'm Sunray Geek. I'm Sunray Geek on Blue Sky, Twitter, Mastodon, Tumblr, Threads as well too. John's got on Facebook. You can find me there if you want. I'm also on like Twitch and YouTube, and after we get out of school, I'm gonna go live again onto YouTube to like stream more Marvel Rivals, to like grind that game a bit more as well too, and drops on for Marvel Rivals, so might as well do that. And John Brockman, do you do another podcast and not just this?
Yeah, Dungeons and Debacles. We're not going to record today. It's Father's Day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
How was everyone's Father's Day?
I'm not going to do anything. Where my
I'm
brothers
not
and
a
I
father, and my father is a boomer.
me and my brothers are going to see Indiana Jones and Last Crusade in theaters, but on Wednesday because like my dad's busy today as well too, because he's also a grandfather to my step nieces and nephews, my step nibblings as well too.
Yeah, my
Uh,
dad's deceased.
Oh, no, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so happy Father's Day to all those who celebrate, or like if you're just a parent that's like
If you have something to celebrate,
contemplates.
celebrate.
Go ahead and stay
I
safe
feel
out the
I feel like I am a father taking care of my autistic ass.
Stay safe out there. Don't forget to practice self-care. Charitylinks.page to help out our friends in need. Joan Roberts really wants some caffeine today, and Phoenix has been crowdfunding for toilet paper as well too. So take care, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye bye,
love you guys.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.